What if the biggest empire on YouTube was hiding a nightmare behind the cameras? Not a small controversy, not a random Twitter rumor, but a federal lawsuit from a former executive inside MrBeast company, accusing the business behind the world's biggest creator of harassment, discrimination, retaliation, and firing her shortly after maternity leave. And if even part of these claims are true, this could become one of the most damaging scandals MrBeast has ever faced. Welcome to Scandal Files US, where we uncover the internet's biggest scandals, hidden stories, and power plays. If you want documentaries like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss what comes next. Because this story only gets darker from here. For years, MrBeast built an image that looked almost untouchable. Massive giveaways, bigger stunts, a brand so powerful it stopped feeling like a YouTube channel and started looking like a media empire. But according to a new lawsuit, behind that polished image was a workplace where some women allegedly faced humiliation, disturbing comments, and a culture that protected power instead of people. And the most shocking part? This lawsuit didn't come from an outsider. It came from someone who was already inside the machine. The woman at the center of the case is Lorraine Mavromatis, a former Beast Industries employee. Reports say she joined the company in August 2022 as the head of Instagram and was promoted more than once within her first year. So this wasn't someone barely connected to the business. This was a person climbing the ranks inside one of the most influential creator companies in the world, which makes the lawsuit even more explosive because she's not describing chaos from the outside. She's describing what she says happened from the inside. According to the lawsuit, Mavromatis claims that women at the company faced a hostile environment where harassment was allegedly ignored, minimized, or even enabled by supervisors. If true, that wouldn't just be a bad workplace story. It would suggest something much bigger, a culture problem at the center of a billion-view empire. Now here's why this story matters so much. MrBeast is not just another creator. He is arguably the most powerful individual on YouTube. At the time these reports were published, news outlets described his business as employing hundreds of people, with massive expansion into TV, e-commerce, and other ventures. And once a creator becomes that big, the stakes change. Because this is no longer just about videos. It's about whether one of the internet's most admired brands built its success on a culture no one was supposed to see. One of the details that made this lawsuit explode online was the claim that Mavromatis joined a work meeting while she was literally in labor. In interviews reported by major outlets, she said she felt pressure to keep showing up, even during one of the most physically intense moments of her life. That image alone is brutal. A woman at the hospital, in labor, still worried about work. And if that wasn't disturbing enough, the lawsuit goes even further. The complaint includes allegations about comments made to her regarding her appearance. According to reports on the lawsuit, one former executive allegedly made remarks suggesting her looks affected how Jimmy Donaldson behaved around her. If true, that's not awkward office gossip. That's the kind of comment that can make a workplace feel unsafe, humiliating, and impossible to navigate. That's where this story turns from disturbing to potentially devastating. Because the lawsuit doesn't just allege harassment, it alleges retaliation. Mavromatis claims that after speaking up, she was transferred into a lesser role, one reportedly known by employees as the place where careers go to die. And in workplace lawsuits, that detail matters. Because when a complaint is followed by a demotion, a transfer, and eventually termination, people start asking whether the punishment was the complaint itself. Then comes the most legally serious part of the case. Mavromatis alleges she was fired less than 3 weeks after returning from maternity leave. Her lawsuit accuses the companies named in the complaint of violating protections tied to family and medical leave, along with wrongful termination and emotional distress claims. That changes the tone completely. Because now this isn't just a public relations scandal. It becomes a courtroom fight over whether a major creator business punished an employee at one of the most vulnerable moments in her life. But then, the other side hit back, hard. A spokesperson for Beast Industries reportedly called the lawsuit a clout-chasing complaint built on deliberate misrepresentations and categorically false statements. The company said it had messages, documents, and witness testimony that it believes refute the claims. It also said her position was eliminated during a reorganization, not because she took leave or complained. And in cases like this, that's where the public battle begins. Because now you have two completely different versions of the same story, and only one of them can survive in the long run. So why did this lawsuit spread so quickly? Because it didn't appear in a vacuum. MrBeast's empire has already faced controversy before. Past headlines raised questions about company culture, internal investigations, and how problems inside the brand were being handled as the business grew bigger and bigger. That history does not prove the new allegations, but it does explain why so many people were instantly willing to believe something darker was happening behind the scenes. Once a brand starts collecting smoke, the public becomes ready to believe there's fire. And that may be the biggest threat here. Not just the lawsuit itself, but the damage it does to the MrBeast image. Because his success was built on one of the strongest reputations on the internet. The guy who gives away money, builds wells, helps people, and makes giant feel-good content. That brand works because people see him as bigger than entertainment. Almost untouchable, almost philanthropic. So when a lawsuit like this lands, it doesn't just hit the business. It hits the myth. And every empire has this moment. The moment where scale starts changing the culture. When a company grows so fast, so publicly, and under so much pressure, that people stop asking whether it's healthy and only ask whether it's winning. That's what makes this case so fascinating. Because beneath the legal language is a deeper question. What happens when the internet's most ambitious creator builds a company too powerful for its own image? And who gets crushed when that machine stops caring? Reports on the lawsuit describe allegations of a toxic boys' club culture. That phrase is powerful for a reason. It suggests a workplace where women are not just uncomfortable, but structurally sidelined. Where jokes, comments, and dismissive behavior become normalized. And where speaking up can make you the problem instead of the victim. Again, these are allegations, not proven facts. But even as allegations, they are serious enough to threaten the credibility of a company built on trust, attention, and public admiration. The timing could not be worse. MrBeast has become far more than a YouTuber. His brand now stretches into streaming, products, business deals, and mainstream entertainment. That means every controversy is bigger, every lawsuit is louder, and every scandal creates risk far beyond YouTube views. Because once major partners, advertisers, and outside executives start seeing the brand as unstable, the cost of controversy goes way beyond comments and headlines. It becomes a threat to expansion itself. And as expected, the internet split into two camps almost instantly. One side sees this lawsuit as the moment the mask slipped, proof that the public image and the private workplace may have been completely different. The other side sees it as an opportunistic attack on one of the biggest creators alive, timed perfectly to grab headlines and money. And honestly, that divide is exactly why this case is so dangerous. Because even before a final legal outcome, the court of public opinion is already in session. But maybe the biggest question isn't whether MrBeast can survive this. He probably can. The bigger question is whether the brand stays clean enough to keep growing at the same speed. Because creator empires don't usually collapse in one day. They crack slowly. A controversy here. A report there. A lawsuit that forces old stories back into the spotlight. And eventually, the thing that looked invincible starts looking fragile. And that's what makes this scandal so compelling. On the surface, it's a lawsuit. But underneath, it's a story about image versus reality. About what happens when one of the most powerful names on the internet gets accused of building success on a culture that may have hurt the people inside it. If the allegations fail, this becomes another example of a giant creator fighting off a public attack. But if more evidence appears, or more voices come forward, then this may be remembered as the moment MrBeast's empire stopped looking untouchable. For now, these claims remain allegations, and Beast Industries has denied them strongly. But whether this lawsuit ends quietly, or becomes the beginning of a much bigger collapse, one thing is certain. The story behind the world's biggest YouTube empire just got a lot darker. And in the age of creator billionaires, the biggest scandals are never just about one person. They're about the system that protected them. If you want more deep dive documentaries on the internet's biggest scandals, subscribe to Scandal Files US. Because the next story might be even bigger.